Okay, we're getting the thumbs up. No. So, Mahaprabhu has returned to Vijayanagar. He's meeting there with Ramananda Rai again. And now they're discussing their arrangements to be able to stay together, because they have such a deep connection. Of course, this is their eternal relationship, also in Krishna Lila. So there, Ramananda Rai is making arrangements. Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Chanavatar Chaitanya Lila Vistar Karino Do Nityananda Prabja Karunarena Bhushito Vyakta Chano Burachincho Vavande Vyasarupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakas Ch.Ch Sarvesham Gurunartino Ramananda Kohe Prabhu Tomar Agya Paya Raja Ke Likiyo Ami Vinoy Kodiya. Ramananda Rai said, "My dear Lord, with your permission, I have already written a letter to the king with great humility." I'm going to put this up. Can you take that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ramananda Rai says, I wrote a letter to the king. Raja more agya dilo nila chole jaite chole bar ujogami lagiachi korite. The king has already given me an order to return to Jagannath Puri, and I am making arrangements to do this. Prabhu kohe tamore nimitte agaman toma loya nila chole koribo gamam. Mahaprabhu then said, "It is for this purpose alone that I have returned. I want to take you with me to Jagannath Puri." Rai kohe Prabhu age cholo nila chole mor sange hati goda sonya ko lahole. Ramananda Rai said, "My dear Lord, it is better that you proceed to Jagannath Puri alone, because with me there will be many horses, elephants, and soldiers all roaring tumultuously." So Ramananda Rai, as we know, he has this very high position in the government. It seems like this province of South India was under the rule of Orissa. So Ramananda Rai was there like as a delegation of King Prataparudra managing this province. So he has he's huge. He's like a king, you can say, you know. And we hear that description when he comes to the Godavari River. When he first meets with Mahaprabhu, he's accompanied, I'm pretty sure it's thousands of men, you know, like it's a big deal. So he's a major guy. And so Mahaprabhu was saying, you know, I wanted to go with you back to Puri, and he's saying, better not, you know, it's going to be like this big fanfare with me, you know, elephants and soldiers and trumpets and this whole thing, horses. And the king, he's kindly agreed to allow Ramananda Rai to retire so he can come and remain in Puri with Mahaprabhu. And no doubt the king's also seeing this as an opportunity to please Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu wants Ramananda Rai, then it's going to be in the king's favor to release him, you know, from his service. Then Mahaprabhu will be pleased with him. Very clever. This is, you know, devotional cleverness. We may not be able to directly please our object of worship and love, but we can be a little clever and go to a roundabout way, you know. Like Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he was very clever, and he was thinking, you know, how can I please my Guru Maharaj, you know, how can I really touch his heart, you know. And so he thought, you know, if I directly praise him, then he's not going to be so satisfied.
Broadcasting, but
some internet problems.
Need to find a better spot for the internet. Probably it doesn't go through the spool very well.
Right. What if we move it here?
Yeah, but now if I plug it.
Oh no, I don't mean now, but then it would work better for here as well. So it doesn't, if it's here, it won't hit there? Oh, the concrete, huh? I see. So after Srila Sridhar Maharaj joined the Gaudiya Math, then the very first thing he composed was the Bhakti Vinod Raha Dashakam in praise of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I mean, really, he's a disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur. It would be the conventional thing to glorify your guru. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj was very clever, he understood, If I really want to touch his heart, I have to go in this roundabout way, And he was successful. He was really successful. So in the same way, in pleasing Gurudev, then not always that, we'll go directly in the front, but we may have to go a little bit behind or around the side and understand what is it that Gurudev wants, and I'll do that, and it will come to his notice. He will know, and he will be pleased. And we can serve those who are serving our Gurudev the most, who are pleasing him the most, then that is the most intelligent approach. With our small capital, we can join forces with someone with higher capital, and then it will become more valuable. Gurudev gave that example. If we start our business with our little capital, then we'll get some small return. But if we invest with whatever in a bigger company, we'll get more. With our little amounts, we'll get much more return, and profit. So in the same way, we will offer our little capital to a higher capitalist, superior capitalist. They will use that, they will make it more valuable. It will become more valuable. So King Prataparucha, he's given this permission to Ramananda Rai, knowing it will please Mahaprabhu. Nindo Sheha Sabar Kori Samadam Tomar Pache Pache Ami Koribo Prayam. I shall make arrangements within 10 days. Following you, I shall go to Nilachal without delay. And Nilachal is another name for Puri, for those of you who don't know. Tobe Mahaprabhu tare asite agya diya, Nilachale cholila Prabhu anandita hoya. Giving orders to Ramananda Rai to come to Nilachal, Mahaprabhu departed for Jagannath Puri with great pleasure. Jai pate purve Prabhu koilayagaman, Se pate cholila deki sarva Vaishnavgan. Mahaprabhu returned by the same road he had formerly taken to Vidyanagar, and all the Vaishnavas along the way saw him again. And of course, it's a little confusing because there's also that area of Navadvip which is called Vidyanagar, right? We go there as part of our Navadvip Dham Parikrama.
Yeah, Nilachal and Jagannath Puri is the same place.
Nilachal is synonymous with Puri, yes. Actually,
because I thought before it was named Nilachal and then it became Puri.
Yeah, I think that may be the case. I mean, it's the same place. But yeah, I mean, I think in the text of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's always referred to as Nilachal.
Yes.
Is it not a certain quarter of Puri?
In the original, there is no Puri. There's only Nilachal.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
But you read the quote one before. In one of them it says both Nilachal and Puri.
But not in the Bengali. The Bengali, it always says Nilachal. But Srila Swami Maharaj in his translation, sometimes he says Nilachal, sometimes he says Puri. But the Bengali, I think it's all Nilachal. Yeah. I think it means something like Blue Mountain or something, right? Something like that. Jai pate purve Prabhu Koilayagaman Se Pater Cholila Deki Sarva Vaishnavgam. Sri Chaitanya, I read that. Mahaprabhu returned by the same road he had formerly taken to Vijayanagar. Oh yeah, so this is a different Vijayanagar in South India, not the Vijayanagar in the Navadvip area where we go on parikrama. Where you're going to go on parikrama. You've been before, right? This will be your second time.
In Navadvip, third.
Your third time, okay. On the parikrama. Very nice.
We're going to go to Nilachal this time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, for 2 weeks almost.
Oh, very nice. And that will be your first time.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Jaha Jai Lok. So, and all the Vaishnavas along the way saw him again. Wonderful. So he came this route and enlightened so many persons, and now he's returning and everyone gets to see him on the way back. You know? This is so wonderful. So merciful, the Lord. Jaha Jai Lokute Haridwani Kodi. Have you been to? You've been to Navadvip, Prabhu?
Yes.
Been long time ago. Yeah. Maybe one day you can bring your family. Have your family been?
Mm-hmm.
Have your family been?
Yes, we went 2010, 2 months before Gurudeva.
Oh, really? Wow. Wow, so fortunate. That's very fortunate. And have you been, Vishnupriya?
Yes.
You've been. When did you go? Maybe I met you there. Probably. Okay, many times you went.
Last year.
Okay, then we definitely met there. But the Russian group is always so big, you know, so it's hard to connect with everyone. Okay, very nice. So you're very familiar with everything. We have Giridhar with us. How are you doing, Prabhu? I guess we're all the same. Trying to go on. We must be doing okay if we're still able to get up every day and, you know, feel some inspiration to come and be with the devotees and chant and hear Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I think we're doing okay. The fact that we're here, like, how are we here, you know? We must be doing something right, you know? So many places we could be in the world, but we are here, like, my God, it's amazing. So
this morning, Marsha was talking to him, and I was mentioning that people are tied by the duty in the world, so they literally cannot be free, and so they're always like doing the duty. But then the result of performing duty properly is the freedom, and the freedom is something which can be exchanged for like a
Slavery.
Yeah.
You're on point.
So
voluntary slavery.
Yes. So freedom is a good chain to exchange for love.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's beautiful. The best way to utilize our freedom.
This is not too slow. It's good.
There's that beautiful line in the preface to Prapana Jivanamrita where Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, you know, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he boldly announced that we are all natural slaves of the highest entity. Like, boldly he declared this, you know. You are all slaves, but then he continues, but this is slavery to the great force of love and beauty. You know? And it is the most noble thing, the most dignified thing. To be a slave to love. You know what I mean? What is more wonderful than that? The slave to love, the slave to beauty.
irresistible.
Yes, exactly. It's irresistible. It's an irresistible flow of the heart to be attracted, to give oneself, to submit oneself to beauty. So we have this opportunity. We all have some degree of freedom. So we have the opportunity to use our freedom for slavery. Voluntary slavery to love, the great force of beauty and love. This is a wonderful thing. We all have to try and do this to some degree or another.
It's so much higher than we have ever known here in this world. It's so much more beautiful, more loving.
Okay. Jaha jailo gute hari dwani kori deki anandita man hoila gaura hari. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, the holy name of Sri Hari was vibrated. Seeing this, the Lord became very happy. Well, it's saying wherever he went, all the people, they would arise and chant the name of Hari. Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai. And seeing this, the Lord was very happy. His presence, this is also the description of the Mahabhagavat, right? Just their presence inspires persons to take Krishna Nam. So, Mahaprabhu, he's the Supreme Lord himself, naturally, wherever he's going, he's inspiring persons to take the holy name. And seeing that, Mahaprabhu is very happy. Anandita man, Deki Anandita man, Hoila, he became extremely joyful, extremely happy. Lalanate asi Krishna dase patailo, Nityananda Adi Nija Gane Bolailo. When the Lord reached Lalanat, he sent his assistant Krishnadas ahead to call for Nityananda Prabhu and other personal associates. He knows he's been gone something like 2 years or something, because going to South India, it's not like jumping on a plane or a train, but he's walking, not even on like a horse or a bullock cart. He's walking. So this is if you're going to South India, this is like not a light matter. So he's been gone, I think it's something like 2 years. And of course Mahaprabhu knows everyone's dying in separation from him. So when he gets to a certain point, he sends his servitor to go ahead and let everyone know, he's back. Prabhu Agaman Shuni Nityananda Rai Uttiya Cholila Preme Teho Nahi Pai. As soon as Nityananda Prabhu received news of the arrival of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately got up and started out to see him. Indeed, he was very impatient in his great ecstasy. Jagadananda Damodar Pandit Mukunda Nachya Cholila Dehe Nadore Ananda. Sri Nityananda Rai, Jagadananda, Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda all became ecstatic in their happiness, and dancing along the way, they went to meet the Lord. Gopinatha Charja Cholila Nandita Hoya Prabhude Milila Sobe Patelag Paya. Gopinatha Charja also went in a very happy mood. They all went to meet the Lord, and they finally contacted him on the way. Or they got him. Paya, they got him. Something like that. Prabhu Prema Veshe Sabai Koiro Alingan Prema Veshe Sobe Kore Ananda Krandan. Ananda Krandan means crying in joy. The Lord was also filled with ecstatic love, and he embraced them all. Out of their love, they began to cry with pleasure. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Nande Cholila Samudre Tire Asi Prabode Milila. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also went to see the Lord with great pleasure, and he met them on the beach by the sea. Sarvabhauma Mahaprabhu Porila Charane Prabhu Tare Uttaya Koilo Alingane. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord pulled him up and embraced him. Premaveshe Sarvabhauma Korila Rodane Sabasange Aila Prabhu Ishwara Shane. Sarvabhauma cried in great ecstatic love. Then the Lord, accompanied by them all, went to the temple of Jagannath.
So like Lord Nityananda, Mukunda, Jagadananda, they went from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri they normally would be in Navadvip, no?
Maybe they've been waiting for him all this time. No. Actually, these persons who are mentioned, they traveled with Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu took sannyas, they traveled with him. They were the four: Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, Mukunda. They traveled with him from Navadvip to Puri. Actually, I believe they were with Mahaprabhu in Puri. Nityananda, he stayed with Mahaprabhu until a certain point when Mahaprabhu told him, "You really have to go." He wouldn't. Mahaprabhu told him previously, but he wouldn't listen. Then it was only finally when Mahaprabhu was entering into the mood of Mahabhav, the mood of Srimati Radharani, it would be too incompatible. Then he really insisted, you have to go. So then he went. But otherwise, he was. I believe all of these persons mentioned, they were mostly with Mahaprabhu in Puri, like amongst his personal companions. Like we hear Dvaita Charja, he would stay in the Navadvip area, and he would come for the Ratha Yatra and stay around 2 months every year, and others. But these persons mentioned, I think they would mostly be with Mahaprabhu in Puri. It's so beautiful hearing these exchanges of love between the Lord and his devotees. So Sarvabhauma falls at the Lord's feet. And this seems to be like the culture when a junior Vaishnava will give obeisance to a senior, then they will lift them up and embrace them. We see this again and again. And of course, in one way, Mahaprabhu sees Sarvabhauma and treats him as like a senior, but in another way, the Lord he's in the dress of a sannyasi, so there's some etiquette there that the Grihastha will give obeisance to the sannyasi. But otherwise, Mahaprabhu treats him with great respect. Premaveshe Sarvabhauma Koriloro Dane Sabasange Aila Prabhu Ishwara Shane. Sarvabhauma cried in great ecstatic love. Then the Lord, accompanied by them all, went to the temple of Jagannath for Ishwar Darshan, of the Lord. Jagannath Darshan Premaveshe Koilo Kampaswera Pulaka Shuddhe Shodir Vasilo. Due to ecstatic love experienced upon visiting Lord Jagannath, inundations of trembling, perspiration, tears, and jubilation swept the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bahu nitya gita koilo prema vishta hoya Pandapa ailo sabe mala prasad loya. In ecstatic love, the Lord danced and chanted. At that time, all the attendants and priests came to offer him a garland and the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. Mala prasad paya Prabhu sustir hoila Jagannath sevak sabanande milila. The Lord became calm after receiving the garland and prasad of Lord Jagannath. All the servants of Lord Jagannath met Mahaprabhu with great pleasure. Kashimishasi Prabhur Porila Charane Manya Kori Prabhutare Koilo Alingane. Afterwards, Kashi Mishra came and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord respectfully embraced him. And Kashi Mishra, of course, he has some very high position, some type of superintendent. I don't remember exactly, but in connection with the Jagannath temple. And he also has so much love, for Mahaprabhu, and he assists with many arrangements for the Lord and the devotees, arranges accommodation. And when maybe his position is not only with the Jagannath temple, maybe more over some connection with the government also. I don't remember, but
wasn't he the highest scholar, and then he came to Navadvip and Mahaprabhu defeated him?
That's Sarvabhauma.
No, like some the highest scholar in India, and then Kashmiri.
Keshava Kashmiri.
Oh, yeah, Keshava.
No, that's in Navadvip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, Kashi Mishra is important, but he arranges for the devotees' accommodation. Also, when Mahaprabhu stays in the Gambhir, that arrangement that's made by Kashi Mishra. So,
why Mahaprabhu allows people with high position to meet with him, but for Maharaja Prataparudra it was like an adventure to get his meeting.
well,
So many times he was.
Yeah. Well, the main point about the king is in a position of great enjoyment. The kings could have, many, many wives. I don't know what the tradition was 500 years ago, but like Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned about King Dasharath, he had thousands of wives. So, they'd have a whole harem and so much money and, so much pleasure, opulent lifestyle, food and everything. So it's a position of great enjoyment and very much in connection with the, material energy. And so for that reason, these other, Kashi Mishra, he has a very high post, but it's not quite the same, So with King Prataparudra, the Lord is very careful to maintain the formality of a sannyasi for that reason.
Is still to increase Prataparudra's desire?
Yeah, we can see that in an internal sense also. Yeah, absolutely.
By the end, he's just totally lamenting. And then somehow, through his devotees, he gets a chance to.
Yes. Yes.
Dressed by a normal man.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's all part of the Leela, like stimulating that exchange of love. But, we do see, like, for example, in the case of Ramananda Rai, he has a position like a king also. He has a very high position. But in his case, it's significant that Mahaprabhu doesn't consider anything. It just like shows, what is the position of Ramananda Rai and what type of relationship they have that Mahaprabhu is disregarding. And I mean, like it describes there. It's very extreme when Mahaprabhu and Ramananda meet. It's very intense. You know, they go to like almost running to each other. They're embracing each other. They're fainting. They're crying. And Ramananda is surrounded by this huge entourage, you know, of hundreds, if not thousands, of men. You know, and it says there like they're shocked, you know, to see this. This is like, not normal behavior, like the etiquette of the time. Like he's a sannyasi and he's like this, a materialist, and like how is this possible? And they're very puzzled, But it's interesting because I think we can consider in that case it's just showing the position of Ramananda and how intense his divine love is, that it's irresistible for the Lord. He's forgetting all formality in that case. But Kashi Mishra is not like that, not that type of position. He's some position, maybe in the government, some type of, supervisor or something, but not like that. He's serving under the king.
He provided also the Haridastakur state, that was his...
Sorry, what did you say?
The Haridastakur state, that was from...
Right, Kashi Mishra. Yeah. I think in general he would arrange all the accommodation.
Like a big real estate.
Maybe something like that. But yes, in the case of Prataparudra, we see how careful the Lord is. But in this modern age, we are following the example of Srila Saraswati Thakur, Yukta Vairagya. We adjust according, because that was the culture at the time, Of course, there's some principle there of being cautious internally and associating with materially involved persons, but more significantly, it's part of the culture, That was the Mahaprabhu was so strict in his sannyas, observance, because that was the expectation of the time. People wouldn't take you seriously if you couldn't maintain a certain level of renunciation. But in this age, we, according to how the cultures change, we do things differently. Gurudev, he was discussing this point once, and he said, now that how Mahaprabhu observed so many things because of the expectation of the current time in society, and then he said, but now that same movement is continuing today with Jagannath Vallabha Prabhu, Avadut Maharaj. He made this contrast. Avadut Maharaj is utilizing so many things, right? So much grandeur and arranging these like huge festivals. But he was saying that's the same movement of Mahaprabhu. Because the culture is different now, then we have to adjust, according to the time. So, Srila Saraswati Thakur, he gave this principle of Yukta Vairagya, properly adjusted renunciation, in which we will not renounce, but we will engage everything. There's one very, very nice story I heard Gurudev tell. It was one disciple of Srila Saraswati. He's very famous. I won't mention his name now, but he a very well-known disciple of Srila Saraswati, sannyas disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and he, because they used to go out and collect, right? They would collect, from businessmen or maybe door to door. Sometime they would collect funds for the preaching, for the missionary activities. And so at one time, one sannyas disciple, Srila Saraswati Thakur, he met one man. He was one of these, they're called Marwaris. It's a class of businessmen in India. And he met one of these like well-to-do businessmen, and he played a trick on him. He told him, "Oh yes, I will give you a very good donation. Let me take this address, and you go there, and I'll give it to you there, or someone will give it to you there. You can say my name, something like that." And so this sannyasi, he took this address, and then he went there, maybe the next day. And a very attractive woman opened the door. And he figured out this was a prostitute. This was a prostitute's house. And this businessman had completely played a joke on it. And, "Can I help you, Swamiji?" And he became very angry when he figured it out, within a few minutes. And he actually went to Srila Saraswati Thakur, to his guru, and he vented his anger on him, like "You're the one who's got me involved in this whole thing, and what do you expect us to do? We even have to go to the prostitute's house, to do this service." And Srila Saraswati Thakur, he said, "Yes." "We will be ready to go anywhere and everywhere for the service of Krishna." So,
breaking stereotype.
Breaking stereotype.
What did you say?
Breaking stereotype. I'm sannyasi, I'm come from some places.
But I mean, full-fledged Vaishnava, they're in that type of position. They can go anywhere and everywhere, right? They have that type of conviction and purity, and that is the highest standard. Not that we will avoid this, avoid that, don't go here, don't go there, because we'll be affected by that. In our weaker stage, we have to do that, but that's not in the highest ideal. The highest ideal is that we're ready to face anything and face anyone, anywhere, any situation. Our faith will remain strong, and we'll still be in a position to give Krishna consciousness.
And there is a story that I can't understand of Haridas Jr. Do you remember?
Ch.Ch. Haridas. Yes. Yes.
Can you comment?
Well, again, the culture of the time was so strong. And Mahaprabhu different points to be made there. One is that Ch.Ch. Haridas, he himself, he's not at fault. He's to be considered an eternal associate of the Lord. And this was some leela to illustrate the need for some caution. We cannot look only at one point and one example. We have to see, different considerations are being given through different examples. So, in the example of Ch.Ch. Haridas, this point is being made that we should be careful in dealings between men and women. There should be some caution exercised, and even in a subtle way, there may be some impurity. We should not delude ourselves. We should be conscious and careful that teaching is there. Mahaprabhu himself, he says, if I hear the name of a woman, I'm disturbed, right? Mahaprabhu says that himself. So there's some teaching being given there that there should be some caution, and we should not delude ourselves, think that we are beyond anything. So that is there for the practitioners, that type of caution is given. It is something to remember.
The story of Ch.Ch. Haridas, did he collect a donation from some lady?
Yeah, it was Madhya Devi, right? he collected some rice from her. But Gurudev, he also made some comments on that pastime, that he said, you know, I've thought about this, and I think what actually happened is that Mahaprabhu had already told him to not go there, because Mahaprabhu was concerned. And or someone had already told him not to go there. But then somebody else, not knowing that restriction had been given, who was it who asked him? Was it Advaita? No, I can't remember who. But then another Vaishnav asked him to go there. And so he took that as an excuse. Even though he'd already been told, don't go there. When another Vaishnav, sometimes, you know, we see that too, right? You know, we say, oh, don't do this. And then we see they do it anyway. Oh, because this other Vaishnav told me to do it. Yeah, but they don't know the reason why I told you not to do it, you know. Like, they take some excuse, you know, to do something. So that was how Gurudev, you know, he gave that commentary on that pastime, that it wasn't so straightforward that Mahaprabhu just immediately, you know, gave him that punishment, but he'd already like given him some warning. So I mean, you know, so now, like in our modern culture, in our modern like missionary activities, there's some more like freedom, you know, in the, you know, relationships between men and women, and it's part of the Western culture also. There's not that same type of sensitivity that you find in India. So there's more, you know, what I'm saying is that men and women, they're more accustomed to mixing in a free way, so they don't think so much, you know. They're not so disturbed by that type of closeness. Whereas, for example, in India, you know, if someone's been living in an environment where there's some like segregation between men and women a lot, then if they mix, then it's like they're more conscious of that, you know.
One of my Indian students, he was almost expelled from his school because he has SMS with one girl. Nothing.
He had what?
Texted with girl from his class.
This was in India?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Even now it's like that.
Awful conflict with her parents. And
wow, even now.
Yes.
My goodness. I remember Srila Gurudev, he was concerned when, because normally in Navadvip there would be some, you know, there was a separate building made for ladies, and, you know, there was some segregation in terms of the accommodation. But Madhusudana Maharaj told me when the guest house in Calcutta was opening or something, then Gurudev, he was concerned that the neighbors will see that men and women are all entering into the same building, and, you know, what are they going to think? You know, they're going to get some bad impression. He was really concerned about that. There's still this type of sensitivity there. And Gurudev, he was more strict. He expected more from his Indian sannyasis. One of our Western ladies, who's known to be a very chaste lady, she walked down the road with one of our Indian sannyasis, just short distance from the temple to that guest house, right? Sevak. It's like, what is it, 100 meters or something? It's not very far. They walked together down this road talking, and later Gurudev chastised that sannyasi, you know, like, this is not appropriate behavior for you, you know. Because he, you know, he knew the Indian people can see it and they can criticize. And there's also that sensitivity, you know, because they haven't had, men and women are not like raised with that same type of familiarity, so you feel it more keenly, you know. I mean, like, I can say for myself, I've always like grown up, like I was raised by our mother, and, two sisters, all girls school. I've always like been with ladies, and so I'm more sensitive to male energy, you know. Like even if like a man sits next to me, I'll feel a little uncomfortable because I feel it more, you know. But others I see, they don't feel it, you know. They're mixing very freely. So because they've been raised differently, you know, mixing more. So there's not that same, it's not like as much of a big deal. So anyway, in our culture, there's some more freedom like that, and Gurudev allowed that. But still, these examples, you know, they give us some caution, you know. You know, we should have these things in our mind, you know, and when necessary, we can try to exercise some, you know, some particular, you know, behavior or make some adjustment.
And going back to Victor Nairobi, can you remind us the story about Rolls Royce and Saraswati?
Rolls Royce? I don't think I know that story.
Maybe, yes, Saraswati Thakur, he had a present, Rolls Royce. And sometimes
he had a present?
Yeah, he had a car. Sometimes he used it, and the other sannyasis, they blame him.
He drove into the Vrindavan,
right.
Rolls Royce.
Was it I didn't know it was a Rolls Royce. But yes, that's true. It was very shocking when he went into Vrindavan with a motor car. That's how I've heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj tell. Maybe it was a Rolls Royce. But yeah.
Well, in that time there were only particular brands because it was the beginning of
right,
cars.
There weren't many cars,
No.
right? Yeah. Yeah, it was very shocking, you know, because persons had, you know, generally the Gaudiya Vaishnavas had this idea of imitating the 6 Goswamis, you know, like living barefoot under the tree and following this extreme lifestyle of renunciation. But the question is, like, why were they doing that? Like, for what purpose? For who? With what type of consciousness? And how much were they really able to follow the principles and standard of the Goswamis also? So Saraswati Thakur, he showed, like, we don't imitate that. The way that they live, that is something very high. We worship that. We don't imitate that. But rather we will take all the grandeur of this world in order to serve, you know, that higher plane. No, his mood was like, I'm standing for the dignity of that type of simplicity. And I believe it was when there was that incident where one Brahmin in Vrindavan, he made an offensive comment about Raghunath Das Goswami, and Saraswati Thakur started fasting. And he fasted until, you heard that, very famous, and he fasted until there was some apology. And somebody asked him, like, why did you even pay any attention? This guy is like a fool. Why should you care? And he said, you know, that, you know, I'm in this position of an acharya. You know, I have to stand for the dignity of my gurus. I have to protect their honor. So if he said, if I was just like living like a simple Babaji, I would just leave the area. So I wouldn't have to hear this type of comment. But I'm in this position. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj also said he repeatedly commented, why am I riding in a motor car in Vrindavan? You know, why am I riding in a motor car in Vrindavan? You know, like to say, like, you know, I have this position to protect their dignity. You know, I'm you know, taking some you know, position here in order to serve them, like that. Does that make sense? But yeah, it was very shocking, and we hear practically all the temples closed to him, except for the Gopal Bhatta Goswami's temple. What is the name of the deity there? Radha Raman. That temple, they were very friendly to Srila Saraswati Thakur, but practically everyone else, they...
Really, so much opposition.
Yeah, so much opposition. Nobody could understand him. Some out of envy or feeling threatened, but there were others who just sincerely could not understand what he was doing. Even, just to put things in perspective, one of Srila Saraswati Gurudev told, it's published in the Divine Servitor or Dignity. One of his own disciples, he found it hard to accommodate that they would go out for preaching and collection using a horse and a cart. He thought that was opulent. Like compared to the standard of the Goswamis, going out with just like their begging bowl and very, very simple, barefoot, That was considered opulent. That was one of his own disciples. He made a comment like that to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I'm very unfortunate because I cannot understand my Guru Maharaj. He made a comment like that. So, what to speak of a motor car? We can't really conceive of it, and because of the culture that we've been brought up in. But it was like totally revolutionary.
But it can always come in another form, right?
What's that?
It can always come in another form, this type of thing.
What type of thing?
To do something revolutionary, but it's not common in any way from Acharya or from, pure devotee.
Yeah.
Guidance.
There will always be opposition. There will always be opposition. It will be like 80% will be opposing. Probably that would be a good sign, because that means that that's something revolutionary.
That's why it's important we were able to develop an inner eye, to detect where is the substance, because the form can change according to the necessity of the time, the form can change, and we have to be able to develop that appreciation for the essence of Krishna consciousness.
And especially now, the time is changing so fast, so many different things than 10 years ago. So how to adjust, right?
And all these forms, they crumble like biscuits. You put it just throughout the time, things change, and then it's just inevitable in a way.
Yes. That's the duty of a preacher, to understand how Krishna consciousness should be presented at this particular time. What is appropriate at this particular time. So Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he presented Krishna consciousness in a particular way, because of he's looking at the situation and seeing what's necessary to get these people, Srila Saraswati Thakur, same thing, Gurudev, same thing, What is necessary, this particular point in dealing with these persons.
He claimed that he is spreading Krishna consciousness outside the Bharatavarsha. He is traveling, giving consciousness to village or huts.
If the Brahmana travels throughout the ocean, he I think it's but by some rules, he's not considered Brahman anymore.
Really?
You lose your.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So you should not leave this church.
The smarta Brahmana things, the rules.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. So he was criticized a lot because of that as well.
Who are you speaking of?
Swami Prabhupada.
By
his good brothers and some other missions.
Yeah, even that always really strikes me, even his own godbrothers, who, they were disciples of Saraswati Thakur, and they knew about Saraswati Thakur's revolutionary spirit, but they couldn't make that adjustment, in the case of Srila Swami Maharaj. They couldn't see, the same thing that their guru was trying to do, he was doing, in a different form. They couldn't see that. It's striking.
And his, the name he took, Prabhupada. He also was criticized.
Yes.
He was thinking that he was bringing, like, he wasn't really taking this position, but he was 100% representing his Guru Maharaj, and therefore he took the title Prabhupada. But the God brothers, they thought that he's presenting himself as Prabhupada, and they started to criticize him.
Yeah, Srila Maharaj, he was happy then. He thought it was appropriate.
Because he knew the spirit of Srila Prabhupada.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
In which mood he would represent.
Yeah.
I was thinking if Mahaprabhu would come now, he probably wouldn't take sannyas. He would open some IT company, or cloud-based vendor.
But you know what it is also? But everything is so like now, so
and it was so subscribed.
so scientific, that's the high. Then the opposite becomes at once very attractive. You know, that this simplicity, this beauty is very, you know, like most core things, what is necessary. That can also become another way.
At that time, sannyas position was very respected and honored, and everyone was like very attentive. So it was necessary in order to like you could move throughout the places and meet people, and everyone will be very honoring you, and then you can teach
something. But then beauty is the most attractive.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah. And Mahaprabhu was the most attractive. So then you got it all already.
Okay, well, it's getting late now, so maybe we'll stop there. Giridhari Prabhu, you want to sing? Your voice. Okay. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bhajayamana. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Asha. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Asha. Hari Nam Sankirtan Koro Radho Tamanasa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Lakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Girir Hari Ju ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Saprashad Shima Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai, Shri Ganga Jamuna ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi, Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Lantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Vishwavyapi Tadi Vishakha Mat ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat London Chapter ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Bimala Avadut Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Chaitanya Bharati Maharaj ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, all the world devotees ki Jai, Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Dasi ki Jai.